Hello out there to my friends at Biankara Jakarta Raya University. I hope I pronounced that right. When my friend asked me to give you guys a very short presentation, I was very excited. I very much enjoy working with colleagues from the Philippines and Indonesia, and so I absolutely jumped at the chance to talk to you for just a few minutes about kind of the current state of cybercrime here in the United States. So I thought about it for a long time, and I narrowed kind of the current American cybercrime issue into 6 smaller subtopics, which we're going to go over one by one very quickly. I could go on for hours and hours and hours about each one of these, but this is just a very small taste of kind of where cybercrime is in the United States today. So first, the pandemic, right? We were all there in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And around the world, one of the major kind of adaptations to that was a shift to working from home, and a shift to more online, remote work, remote everything, everything from ordering groceries online to Zooming in for work meetings to international conferences such as this. This shift and this increased reliance on the internet and email and all kinds of computerized communication system really increased the number of possible victims, and thus was a hugely attractive movement for cyber criminals. So as you can see in this chart here, both the number of complaints and the number of losses for cybercrime have increased dramatically since 2019. And even with the kind of lessening of the pandemic, this hasn't really slowed down. This is something that just continues to grow because, once again, we're spending so much more time online, working remotely. Businesses have to open their servers and other computer network systems for more access from outside the physical organization. And that means that there's going to be more opportunities for cybercriminality to occur. Another huge issue in the United States right now, especially, is ransomware. For those not aware, ransomware is essentially a virus or a piece of malware transmitted computer to computer to computer that will eventually encrypt the contents of that device and give a message to any potential user who wants to access any of that information that their data is now encrypted, and in order to unencrypt it, they have to send a ransom, usually via cryptocurrency, which we'll talk about here in a moment, to the person who created this piece of malware or virus, or however you'd like to refer to it. Ransomware is an increasingly large issue. We're not quite sure exactly how big, because so many victims never inform the police. A lot of them pay the money to get their stuff unencrypted. Some of them just kind of decide that their data is now gone and move on. But it can be a very, very difficult thing, especially if you're in a large organization. So the top 5 targets for ransomware are there on the screen, with the number 1 being healthcare and public health. And my wife is a nurse, and she formerly worked at a hospital here in the United States where they were hit with a ransomware attack. And it disrupted the hospital's operations dramatically. There were lots of impacts both on the workers and the patients because they couldn't use their computer systems, they couldn't use email, they couldn't use, look up prescription information. So it was definitely an important, dramatic attack, and those are only kind of becoming more common. The people who write ransomware are getting more brazen, asking for more money. And ransomware is something that is going to be a very big issue. It already is, and it's only going to get worse. Data breaches are always a really big deal. So with a data breach, this is when a company or an organization or a website has their information about their customers stolen. And there's lots and lots of things you can do with that information. Obviously, if it includes things like credit card numbers, that can be a direct financial benefit to the offender, and then risk to the people who had their data lost. And this is only going to become a bigger issue because more and more things are being put online, right? Every one of us probably has more accounts with different websites, and we're shopping with more businesses that store our information electronically. We're, more social media accounts, more bank accounts, more, even restaurants now have their own apps, which stores your information. So the more opportunities there are for offenders, the more these big data breaches are going to happen. The other big problem with data breaches is the Internet of Things, right? And for those who don't know, the Internet of Things just means, devices other than your computer or laptop or cell phone that can connect to the Internet for various purposes. For instance, in my prior home that I used to live in, the thermostat that controls the air conditioning and the heating was connected to the internet. And the convenience for the homeowner in that case is that I could control my air conditioning and heating from whatever room in the house I was in, or even if I was out and about, if I was on my way home and I wanted to turn the heater on so that it would be nice and warm when I got home, I could do that from my phone. The problem is that just creates more targets for people wanting to steal my data. I've seen internet-connected refrigerators, internet-connected automobiles, internet-connected televisions. In 2024, basically, if it's electronic, somebody probably sells an internet-connected version. I haven't seen an internet-connected toaster yet, but I'm assuming those are coming. Now, cryptocurrency. For those who don't know, cryptocurrency is kind of an online-only currency not backed by a nation state, right? So unlike the United States dollars or Philippine pesos or Chinese yuan, this is a currency that is worldwide and not backed by a government. The most common kind of cryptocurrency is, of course, Bitcoin. Many of you have probably heard of Bitcoin. And cryptocurrencies are attractive for criminals because they're much more difficult for governments to track than transactions in more traditional currencies. So they're used commonly by criminals to try to hide their financial transactions, especially international financial transactions. Cryptocurrency has made those made international transactions much easier, and also made law enforcement's job of tracking money much more difficult. Another issue with cryptocurrency is investment scams. Because cryptocurrency fluctuates in exchange rate for, say, the United States dollar, it has become kind of a very common, very popular form of investment here in the United States, where people will buy, say, $100 worth of Bitcoin, and then 2 years later sell it for $500 of American currency again, they can make a substantially large profit if they do it at the right time, of course. But there are lots of bad actors, there are lots of offenders who are trying to kind of defraud people and scam people into investing in cryptocurrency, promising huge profits, and then essentially just walking away with the money. And then, of course, there's just direct theft of cryptocurrency. If you happen to have a cryptocurrency wallet on your cell phone or your laptop or something, there are increasingly viruses and other malware that will take the cryptocurrency out of your wallet and send it to the person who wrote that piece of malware. So direct theft of cryptocurrency is becoming a bigger and bigger deal as cryptocurrency is becoming more widely adopted, and as these cryptocurrencies are becoming more valuable compared to more traditional currencies like the American dollar. They're becoming a much more attractive target for theft and fraud. Now, the next issue is AI, artificial intelligence, right? For those of you in the audience who are university faculty members, you've probably had some instances, some run-ins with AI-generated content via your student papers or student work that they didn't actually create. They just used an AI generation system to create that work and then tried to turn it in as their own. Here in the United States, that is very unethical, and you might get punished by the university, but it's not illegal, right? You can't get arrested for doing it. I have no idea about the laws in other countries, but here in the United States, that kind of plagiarism is not illegal, merely unethical, and will get you punished by, again, the university. Where AI can turn into a form of illegal action are two of the more common ways are things like non-consensual pornography, right? AI can create images or even videos of people that did not agree to be in those pictures and videos. Thus, if someone wanted to, they could create an AI-generated pornographic image or pornographic video starring a person who never agreed to be in any kind of pornographic video. I believe this was recently a major newsworthy event when AI-generated images were used on a famous singer here in the United States and passed around as if it was real, and it was, I didn't actually see it myself, but I heard from others that it was very believable looking. It very much did look like that famous singer, and that was done obviously entirely without her consent, without her permission, and that was obviously illegal. Now, the second use of AI that can be illegal that I'd like to talk about today is AI-based phishing. So phishing, for those who don't know, is kind of when an offender tries to convince a victim they're someone they're not in order to get access to passwords or other secret information, right? So if I sent you an email and I said, oh, I'm from your bank account, or I'm from your bank, there's a problem with your account, please reply with your online username and password so we can verify your identity so you can regain access to your bank account. Obviously, I do not work for a bank, so I would be lying, but if you believed me, you might send me your username and password information for your bank account, which then I could use to clear out your bank and steal all your money. With AI, this can become a lot easier. The people asking for the passwords or other secret information can use AI to make their phishing attempts more realistic, more likely to succeed. Okay? And then the final topic I want to talk about is election security. So in 2024, we will once again have a United States presidential election. And in both 2016 and 2020, we had documented cases of foreign governments using cybercrime techniques to try to influence who we as Americans voted for president. So they would use social media, fake accounts or bot accounts to spread propaganda supporting one candidate over another and trying to influence the people of the United States to vote for the president they wanted us to have rather than the one that we actually wanted to have. There have been lots of claims by social media executives that they are trying to cut down on this, that they're trying to eliminate this, but it keeps happening. Okay? With the rise of AI, this is becoming easier and easier. So already here in the United States, we've had one documented case of someone faking a presidential candidate's voice to record a message and then send that recorded message out to many people in one state, February, I think it was, January or February, in order to encourage those people not to vote for the candidate that this artificial intelligence was impersonating, right? So, let's see, the election's in November, it's now March, so we're 8 months away from the actual election, and we have already had a documented case of AI being used to try to influence how people vote or whether people vote or who they vote for. And this is only going to become more and more common both as the months until November of 2024 come, and then again in 2028 and 2032. So we as a country, and indeed we as a world, need to work on how we deal with these AI-generated election propaganda, how we try to deal with one country trying to influence our elections via the internet, via social media, via AI, all those things. But anyway, I promised this would be short, so that was a very short presentation about some of the issues really facing us here in the United States today in regards to cybercrime. On the screen here, you can see my contact information, my email. I'm on Threads, the social media website Threads. And I'm also on YouTube under the username Arresting Developments, where I have a lot more content all about cybercrime and all about criminal justice in general, if you're interested in that. But I really hope you guys have a good conference. I hope you have a good meeting. I would love to be there in person. Maybe one day I can actually come see you there in Indonesia and work together. And hopefully one day you can come here to the United States. And I'd love to be closer colleagues. Please contact me with any questions or comments. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.